Hello GGs and NBPs, it's Joshy here and I am back with another ways to use video. First off, I need to apologise, I thought this one was already up and then kept forgetting I hadn't recorded voice or finalised it. So here we go, and Mossy, you can get into it, as can everyone else. But before I do get into it, let me point out a couple things. Now, I like to base these off Pokemon I enjoy, well, there are Pokemon that I enjoy. I use Cerebi, I think it's a great website to check out the moves listed down, and I come up with the sets myself. That does not mean they are completely original or no one else has ever used them. There are many of us all playing Pokemon coming up with different sets. So if you see one you've seen before, that's awesome. You can even let me know where you've seen it. But I guarantee you, unless I state otherwise, I have made these myself while sitting down here. But let's look at the Pokemon and the sets we're doing. So today we are looking at the compressed Pokemon, Gigalith. Now, I've really liked Gigalith for a while. I thought it was a cool introduction in Gen 5, and then it actually has had some work around its ability last generation. It actually gained a new ability, because it only had one and a hidden ability, but we'll look at them in a sec. And it's really got some nice stats. So let's have a look at it. Being a rock type, it's got some pretty good uses. So anyway, the abilities first. Now, we have 3. So Sturdy is what it already had. Now, that allows you to leave a one-hit KO move. So that either means if you are on full health and get hit with a move, you will not die. If it's only a one-hitting move, it will leave you on 1 HP instead of killing you. And you're immune to one-hit KO moves like Horn Drill and Fissure and so on. Then the ability which was added in Sun and Moon was Sandstream. This just conjures a Sandstorm as soon as it enters battle, which does last for 5 turns. Unless you have a Smooth Stone on, then it will extend it. And finally, our hidden ability, Sand Force, which gives ground, rock, and steel type moves a 33% boost during a sandstorm. So there's a lot of uses there. Now, let's look at its stats. Now, it has a stat total of 515, which is pretty good, but when you come down to looking at one stat, which is speed, is only 25, that means that 5 stats have a total of 490 to share, which is more than some Pokemon have in all 6 stats, so it's pretty good. So speed, as I said, it sits at 25, and that's okay and can be useful in many different ways, and we'll have a look in these. Then we have our special attack at 60, usually not a stat that's used that often. Then we have special defense at 80, which is pretty good. 85 in HP, which is great. Then 130 in defense, and then 135 in attack. This thing has stats to put damage out. So anyway, let's get rolling into the sets in no particular order, starting with number 8. So the reason I want to show this one off first is I've had him since Sun and Moon because I wanted to SOS chain for a shiny. But anyway, he has Iron Head, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Throat Chop. So Stone Edge is our only stab, and I'd probably suggest maybe upping him there with PP max. But we have an Adamant Nature, max HP, max special defense with the Sandstream ability, and then we have the Assault Vest. Now, I really think this is kind of a neglected idea. As you can see, we're in a heavy ball because why not? But what this guy can do is, with the Assault Vest, with max special defense there, we get an extra 50% special defense. We just can't use, obviously, status moves. But the thing is, rock types get an extra 50% as well from Sandstorm. So you are looking at a massive special defense stat. Now, that's not stab, that's just neutral. Or super effective. But even if he used a super effective stab grass move, he wasn't going to do that much damage against my Gigalith. Now, the other really cool thing is with the moves I carry is that I can Dynamax and boost my own stats. I mean, Max Quake, I can boost my special defense even higher. Max Rockfall, I can reset up the Sandstorm. And then Max Steel Spike, I can boost my own special defense. My defense itself. And so, realistically, this set actually is better specially defensive than physically defensive. And that catches a lot of people off guard. So I took this opportunity to do my own boosts. Now, if you wanted to change Throat Chop, you could run a fighting move with, like, Body Press, because that would give you access to be able to boost your attack stat, but I find this set doesn't really need it. Now, as you can see, I'm using Max Steel Spike here. I'm not going to kill him in 2 hits. It's going to take 3, even with the Sandstorm just. But what I'm doing here is reducing how much damage I take from the Drain Punch. And realistically, I can live a couple more hits even without being Dynamax now. And cause a bit of damage to any of the Pokemon coming in without hopefully being killed in 1 hit. So he's sitting low. Now, because my Dynamax is run out, I can't reset up the Sandstorm. For some reason, he's going to use Taunt. I wanted to see how much damage he did with a Drain Punch, but idiot, I'm Assault Vested, so Taunt away. But Earthquake's going to be enough to take him out. Now, the only other thing is, if this set, like here, the Sandstorm subsides, if you've already used your Dynamax, like I have, and we've boosted our defense and special defense, there's more or less not too many reasons to swap. Unless you have someone who has like Wish or Healing Wish, but I don't. I get a Flame Orb, he gets the Assault Vest, I don't care. Going for the Stone Edge, and that's going to take out Drifloon in 1 hit. So it's really cool, but as I said before, if you're planning on running this one in 6v6, I'd suggest maybe carrying, giving him a PP Max to Stone Edge. Alright, so number 7, we have Rest, Curse, so they're the wrong way around, Sleep Talk, and Rock Blast. So the aim of this one is to be a little bit annoying. We are running an Impish Nature. We are running 200 in Special Defense, then I've got 100 in Attack, and the remainder in HP. Now, that way it gives me a decent spread all around. We have the Sturdy ability, and then we have the Moringa Berry, so that way if I do get hit with a special hitting move, I do get a Spadef boost. I only get 1, but with my base Spadef, I should be okay. So anyway, we've got a heat more here, and I was a little worried about Fire Lash. I thought this could really undo it, but we'll see. He goes for a Protect, which was great. I'll take that. I can get a Curse off, and, you know, if he Fire Lashes me now, I've got at least the attack boost to keep, and 1 plus Drain. 1 plus defense boost after another one. I'm just not as high. But nonetheless, he's going to go for the Drain Punch, as you saw, which I'm really surprised but happy with. But this is an AI, please remember that. Human players may make different decisions. He's protecting again, which is funny. So here, this is the moment where, like, you know, this moment exactly usually won't happen against real life people, because they probably won't protect seeing what you're doing. But having them trying to set up or do different things can also happen, especially if they have to swap first. So being able to get a curse or 2 off can actually make it like, well, you know, you're going to cause a fair bit of damage. Even if your speed is dropping, but our speed is crap. So, as you can see, continuous Drain Punches. I went for another curse. Sorry, no I didn't. I went for Rest, expecting a possible Protect, and then seeing where that went, but he a little bit over the shot. So now he's going to go for the Protect, of course, but I get to go for the Sleep Talk. I'm hoping for the Curse, considering I can't even hit him, but, you know, we go for it, and we get Rest. So that's, yeah. Okay. So now we're getting Drain Punched. All cool. It's fine. Because as you can see, we lose so much HP after 3 curses. And I'm able to go for the Sleep Talk again. I'm like, honestly, Curse or Rock Blast would be fantastic, but I get Rest again. So that's luck. So anyway, he's going to skip Protecting, which is great, because I just want to get rid of this guy. And I'm going to wake up. I'm just going to go for a Curse. I thought I'd take my chances there. Honestly, don't know if he's going to double protect or whatever at all at this point. I just thought I might as well, you know, get my time's worth when someone's doing this. So, get the curse up again. I'm sitting, I think, at +5 or +6, so I'm going to do some damage to anyone who comes in. And I'm not going to take really much physical damage. So he's going to go for a Drain Punch again. That did very little. I mean, remember, Heatmore is a fighting type, fire type, not a fighting type. So it's not stabbed, but we're able to destroy with the Rock Blast there. As you can see, we hit one time from full HP. So we're going to have Sork come in, and I'm hoping I can deal with Sork even though I'm resisted. So he's going to go for a close combat, which is great because that did so little damage. And you've got to remember, I don't have any EV investment in defense. The only thing I have is an Impish Nature, which gives me 10%. But 2 Rock Blasts is enough to take out Sawsbuck. So, pretty cool. Sorry, what did I say? Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck's not even here. And then we've got Gothitelle coming in last. Now, I was thinking of going for a rest before I killed, then I thought I'll go for a rest now. Unfortunately, being because of Curse, I'm being outsped. He's going to actually kill me from that range. If I was on full HP or closer to it, I could have survived, and then Moringa Berry and blah blah blah. But anyway, on to number 6. So number 6, we're running Rock Slide, Protect, Wide Guard, and Earthquake. Now, this is a set that I think makes good use of Wide Guard. I think Gigalith's a really good Wide Guard user. We have a careful nature. Sorry, no, we don't. We have an Impish Nature. We have max HP. Then we have 200 in defense and the remainder in special defense. I'm running then also Sandstream. Sorry, we're not Impish, are we? And then I've got a Mango Berry. It's Mago Berry. It's actually the wrong berry I picked, but it's a big berry. So one of the the third HP healing berry. So if you're on low HP, you will heal a third of your HP. Now I'm running a relaxed nature on this guy, not an Impish. I apologize for that statement. So anyway, I'm running a double battle, as you can see, and these two go really well together. The reason being, and this Claydol isn't actually even set up for this, but here I can go for the Protect. Now both of these opponents are going to outspeed us. Haxorus is going for Gigalith, that is fine, and Glaceon with Yawn is actually also going for Gigalith. So I'm like surprised. I thought we would have got a hit on Claydol, but that's okay. Now neither of them are going for double hitting moves, so I can't make use of Wide Guard. But for those who don't know, what Wide Guard does, it's similar to Protect, but it doesn't protect all moves. It only protects your team from multi-hitting moves. So Surf, Rock Slide, Earthquake, things like that. So we double hit Glaceon. Glaceon doesn't quite go down, and then, you know, pops this berry. So I'm like, great, but it flinches. So now I've just got Haxorus coming at me. I do survive that one, which is nice there. Thanks to, you know, the HP and a bit of defense investment there. And then I'm able to pop my Big Berry. So this is my Mago Berry. Wrong one for the ability, the nature I am. As I said, originally I was planning on being a different nature, but it doesn't really matter. Just if it gets confused when you ever eat one, please swap it before the next battle. Unlike this idiot. Nonetheless, Sandstorm is going to take it out. So we've got Surfetch coming in, and I thought, oh, well, I can make good use of this as long as I don't hit myself in the fusion. And I go for a Protect. I'm really assuming that we're most likely going to get 2 attacking Gigalith, so I can then allow my other Pokemon to do some damage. And lo and behold, I am correct. So they're both, again, going for Gigalith. I mean, we have time now, so I snap out of confusion. I go for the Earthquake just for the simple fact that they're both Surfetch is resistant to Rock Slide. I could have caused more damage on Haxorus if I wanted. I was hoping Surfetch would get taken out by the Earthquake, but I still aimed on it because I wanted to get rid of the Surfetch more than the Haxorus, as the fact that he's used a few close combats, his defenses are quite low, and it shouldn't take me much effort to deal with. So Gigalith is going to go down there, and we didn't get to utilize Wide Guard completely, but it still got shown off and showed what it can do. I'm going to bring in the Appleton here, and spoiler alert, I win this pretty easily at this point. But as you got to see there, Gigalith can work in that role. So on to number 5. Here we have Stone Edge, Gravity, Stealth Rocks, and Explosion. Now, I'm sure some of you guys already know exactly what I'm going for here. We are running the Sandstream ability, as I'm also making use of this to set up this Sandstorm, and then I max HP, max attack with an Adamant Nature. And finally we have the Custep Berry, which if you don't know what that is, if you are on low HP, you can your Pokemon will eat the berry next turn and actually go first before other Pokemon without priorities included. If you do want one, I do have a video of how to get a Custep Berry, but it is actually in the second part of the DLC in the Crown. So we've got a throw here to deal with, and I was okay with that, to be honest, because we can make it work. So he goes for a Protect, and I'm like, sweet, because I'm just going for the Stealth Rocks. That's my job at this point. I was kind of hoping I'd get hit strongly to knock him down to low HP, but he doesn't. He goes for the Dig, and that's okay, because I'm just going to go for the Gravity. Doesn't matter that he's not there. Now, what Gravity does, it makes floating Pokemon, like whether they're flying or levitate, come down to the ground so they can be hit with ground moves, but it also increases the accuracy of your moves. So I went for the Stone Edge there just because I'm only carrying the Stone Edge for damage output. He burrowed under the ground again. I'm guessing this set is weird or the AI is being stupid, but nonetheless, he's going to go for another Dig. And at this point, I thought, I don't know if I'll live another one or anything. It's just kind of whatever at this point. I was actually getting fed up. So the Sandstorm ended, unfortunately. But nonetheless, I am going to actually click Explosion, hoping to do some damage, and he didn't go underground. Lucky for me, he swaps into Toxicroak, and I'm able to use Explosion. And this is going to cause damage. And enough that will definitely take up Toxicroak, meaning, you know, I have 2 fresh Pokemon to use, and he has 1.5. So we are ahead, but it can be really nice to kind of nuke a Pokemon with an Explosion, even if you do take him back to use later. So I just set up my next Pokemon because I can, but as you can see, the stones as well is causing more damage. Alright, on to number 4. So this was a fun set. So we're running Sandstorm, Mudslap, Substitute, and Sand Tomb. Now, what I'd suggest here with Mudslap, which I did, I PP maxed it to make sure we can make use against other people. I have a Careful Nature, max HP, and then I have 150 in Special Defense, with the rest in Defense. So it gets our Special Defense up to that 130 mark, which is nice. And then we're having leftovers. Well, we're carrying leftovers. We're not having leftovers for dinner. Gigalith can eat it whenever Gigalith needs. So this one is sped up, and you can probably guess why. So this is a bit of a fun stally set. Problem being, you know, the battle timer these days. But nonetheless, Sandstorm's, you know, done. I'm surprised we saw an Iron-Tail, Ninetales. So I was like, you know what? Not complaining, because this could really work to my, you know, defense. So he ends up actually going for Protect again, and I went for another Mudslap, hoping to cause, you know, more accuracy drops. But, you know, didn't happen. He goes for it again, misses now because Iron-Tail is, I believe, only 70% accurate. So once you start dropping their accuracy, it gets really hard for them to, you know, hit. So he misses again. I went for the Substitute. At this point, I thought, just get a setup. I mean, if it was real people half the time, they'd go for a swap, which, you know, is a bit of a pain when they don't. Well, not when they don't. When they do, or when he protects. But that's why we're carrying the Sand Tomb. What Sand Tomb does, just like Whirlpool or Clamp or Fire Spin, it traps the opponent into battle, meaning they cannot retreat at, you know, and does cause damage every turn, so it can really help. The only thing to remember is there are some Pokemon you cannot trap in, especially Ghost types, so just be wary. But that doesn't mean they're not susceptible to, like, Mudslap and other things. So, at this point, Ninetales is really doing a lot of the job itself. It just missing and hitting itself. Or, sorry, missing and I can hit it. Now I'm going to go for the Sand Tomb again. That does a good chunk of damage, considering that it's specially offensive. Sorry, no, that's Mudslap. I believe Sand Tomb is physically. Don't worry, ignore me. But nonetheless, it's not stabbed and they're not super, like, strong moves. Anyway, misses Iron-Tails again. I'm able to go for the Sand Tomb. And that's enough for Ninetales. So, a bit more recovery, as you can see. We're holding on. And next we have the Center Scorch. So I thought, alright, cool, we'll see what happens. Gets a Scold off. You know, I live it. Go for the Mud Slap. I was like, okay, cool. We might be able to get a repeat. We might be able to get them missing more moves. He goes for the Scold. I'm sure on the second turn that's going to break the sub. And it does. So I actually just went for Sandstorm. I was really happy with my choice after I saw Scold because, you know, I'd rather him not hit me as strong. And as you can see there, Scold doesn't do too much except for burn me, which then negates pretty much my HP recovery from leftovers. So now I just have to play it. So he's just going to try and stall, and you're a con, why? So as you can see with the burn though, it's because the amount I lose is the exact same amount as I recover. It's really, you know, it really puts a stop on that type of recovery. So, you know, what I'm going to do here is just try and cause a bit more damage if I can. But he's planning on protecting and doing everything he can to avoid it. But I'm just healing and burning, so virtually, you know, going nowhere but not going backwards. Sandtomb's doing more and more damage. He's going to go for a wrap. I'm okay with that. I just went for another Mud Slap, trying to play a little bit of a game with him. Especially because I'm burned, I probably should just go for the Sand Tomb. But I was also hoping that the Sand Tomb will be over in a second. Wait, nope. So I set up a Sandstorm again. I thought at least I'm equipped for the last Pokemon somewhat. You know, Cinder Scorch should be down soon. Can't touch me very well, even if he's barely missing. So he's going to get the wrap off, you know, rah, rah, rah. Not very effective. Get the Sand Tomb off. I miss. But Sandstorm hits. I recover. I lose HP to the burn. And I was like, yes, thank God it's still going. Sand Tomb will take out Center Scorch. So now all we have to do is this Reuniclus. So I went for the Mud Slap. That didn't end well, honestly. And it was no use showing a heat more after a bit of the storm. So anyway, this is set 3 now. We are running Stone Edge, Earthquake, Iron Head, and then Protect. Now, this guy, I really wanted to make use of Sand Force, its hidden ability. We have got max HP, max attack again. We are running a Brave Nature, and honestly, it's quite an alright set. Now I'm running Shell Bell, so if I do end up doing a lot of damage to an opponent's Pokemon, I can recover more damage than just a general recovery move. So I was a little bit like, okay, we're going to do this guy for a, you know, double team, because, you know, I need Sandstorm up and we'll see where we go. So I went for Protect again because I can get the Trick Room set up and then, you know, operate through that, so I'm faster, but slower to be faster. Unfortunately, I'm paralyzed. I'm also going to get hit there. Claydol will. Unfortunately, it's not super effective because I have a weakness policy. And I'm able to set up the Trick Room, which means now both my Pokemon will go first. So what I decided on doing is Dynamaxing my Gigalith. That'd be really cool if it had a Gigantamax. And using him to be able to not only cause good damage, but it'll be able to set up for both Pokemon. And I'll show you what I mean. So we're going Max Rockfall. So first off, that's what I wanted. The reason being is it'll set up Sandstorm, which means Sand Force is now activated. So after this move, all Rock-type moves are powered up for me. Also, sorry, not just Rock, Ground, Steel, and Rock. They all get 30%. But obviously Rock is my stab. I'm going to go for a Nasty Plot on Claydol. I'm being ignored enough that I shouldn't die. I'm actually going to get Flash Cannon here. Gigalith lives that pretty well thanks to the Sandstorm itself. And we're going to have Hatterene coming in. So I was like, oh. So I decided to max Steel Spike. I thought at least I can raise my defenses and cause some good damage to Hatterene. It'll actually be enough to take Hatterene out. I was a little bit surprised there. But it depends on the Hatterene set, but they're usually not as physically defensive. So, Shell Bell's going to recover some HP. I'm now going to go for the Earth Power on Copperajah after boosting my attack with Nasty Plot. And yeah. So we've just got one more to deal with, which is quite easy. It's a Fairy type. No problem. He's going to go for Protect though, which is kind of frustrating because it's like, why? If you had something to protect, fair, but you're just going to take some damage, almost half still, and yeah. Like, silly Pokemon and Pokemon Trainer. So we get defense boosts, I get some HP back because of that. Claydol uses Psyshock, he's protected. Leftovers, but it's just pushing back the inevitable. So my Dynamax has finished. I'm not really too stressed. Go for the Iron Head, and that's going to take Slowpuff out there. So that was a pretty cool set. I liked it in doubles. It could it could be useful itself in singles, but I think aiming to try and have someone who can set up the Sandstorm there could work better. On to our second last one, and I couldn't leave something like this out. We are running a Solar Beam, Power Gem, Flash Cannon, and Autotomize. Now, Autotomize is an egg move, if you were wondering. Now, Solar Beam can only be learned by Gigalith. We're running max special attack, max speed. I'm running a Jolly nature, Timid nature, so I can make sure I have a higher speed. And then we have the weakness policy and the Sturdy ability. Now, Sturdy is important just in case you need it, because you need to, obviously, with weakness policy, get hit with a move you're weak to. So, really, you want to come out against something, and here's a good example. So anyway, I'm going to go for the Autotomize to start with. This is going to boost my speed. It's actually going to double it, which means that I'm going to outspeed most things that aren't boosting their own speed one way or another. He's going to go for Muddy Water, and that's going to be enough to almost knock me down to my Sturdy, but it's going to activate my weakness policy, giving me +2 in attack and +2 in special attack. And now I'm going to Dynamax because I don't want to take 2 turns using Solar Beam. I want to just attack straight out. The other really cool thing about doing this right now is, especially if it's a 6v6 battle, I'm sitting at a HP range which I can be taken out by a couple of priority moves. Now, being, Gigalith, I have general good bulk, even without any boosts, so I may be able to take a hit. Being Dynamaxed, I do double in HP, which is from 17 to 34, so it's nothing much. But I actually can then start healing here, so that way if I need to, if I have something coming that I'm going to expect, a quick attack or whatnot from, I can even, protect one turn or max guard, and then get a little bit more HP back. Nonetheless, I'm going to outspeed Mamoswine, wondering if we were going to have the Ice Shard coming in, but we didn't. And going to hit with a Max Overgrowth again and kill. I get another, 10 HP back, so now I'm sitting at 54 here. And we're going to have Braviary coming in. Now, I'm going to kill this guy pretty easily with a Max Rockfall. Now, please do note that obviously a weakness policy set would work much better with a physical set for the sake that I have base 130 at 5, so base 135 attack. But nonetheless, I really wanted to make use of the special, and I thought a special sweeping Gigalith could catch people quite a bit off guard. So, as you can see there, it can work. Now on to our final Gigalith set. This one's a little bit fun. I wanted to run around one move. So we've got Iron Defense, Stone Edge, Stomping Tantrum, and then we've got Body Press. Now the reason I wanted to run around, I wanted to use Body Press here more than our attack, and that's what I wanted to run with. We have a Impish Nature with max HP, max defense, and then we've got Sandstream, just so we have that extra special defense boost, boosting us to 150 special defense. And then we've got Leftovers, just so we can get the recovery off. Because with max HP, max defense, and a couple of Iron Defenses up, I'm going to take a lot of hits, and I'm not going to have to stress about them. The other cool thing is, in a 6v6, if you can whittle your opponent down to something that's obviously not very effective against the Gigalith, and maybe 1 or 2 physical attackers left, this guy can actually be kind of a defensive sweeper, in a way, and I'll show you what I mean here. This will be an example of it anyway. So I'm going to boost my defense here. Now, he's dropping my special attack. I don't really have to worry about it, but, you know, he's going to get hit by the sandstorm. My special defense being boosted from the sandstorm is going to be helpful. So I'm really only losing a small chunk. For some dumb reason, he goes for default. Don't ask. I don't know. But it gives me another opening to go for an iron defense. Obviously, these AI is a bit stupid, and on top of that, these aren't always the optimum times I would use some of these sets. I'd prefer a 6v6, or you'd see where it best works in. Here I'm just sending him out and trying to get a chance to show him off. So at this point I thought, well, with the amount of damage I've actually taken, I might as well just, you know, go for a body press now. So we're going to body press him. You know, it's not going to quite kill. If I got another iron defense off, it would have killed. But that's alright. Weak armor's going to activate, which didn't really matter, being the fact that he outsped me. So I thought, oh well, I'll go for it again. Now, the reason I'm working around body press is the simple fact that body press actually uses your defense stat instead of your attack stat. So after using iron defense and keeping myself bulkier, I can actually then have a much stronger attack. Now here, as you can see, I'm going to take him out because it's now super effective because he used Roost. He's actually only a dark type. Now, just for that turn anyway. And, yeah. Done. So, we have others coming in. We have Diggersby. I was like, thank you for bringing me another person who is weak. He's going to go for Hammer Arm. As you can see, that does it very little. Very little. After 2, iron defenses. I could go for another one, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go for the body press, and that's Diggersby down, and I just have 1 more to take out. So depending on what's coming in, the sandstorm does subside though, so the only problem here is if they come in with a strong special attacker that does outspeed Gigalith, which is a lot of Pokemon, it could easily take me out. So, but it's green, so I'm like, alright. He goes for the protect. I was like, alright, cool, I should have gone for the iron defense, but it doesn't matter. He's, you know, protect, cool, whatevs, don't care. More recovery, but at this point I'm like, easily going to take you out. Outspeed, which, you know, isn't too hard. I mean, between the two of us, it could go either way, I guess. And Greedent's going to go down there, and I take him out and win. So as you can see, in the right circumstance against right Pokemon, that could be a really cool set. But anyway, guys, that is the 8 ways I came up with to how to use Gigalith, and I really enjoyed coming up with them. But, before I finish, there is a little extra I need to show you, because Boldore doesn't have Sandstream. Boldore and Roggenroller's ability, before it evolves into Gigalith, is actually weak armor, which we just saw there activate on Mandibuzz, where it drops your defense by 1 stage when you've been physically hit, but boosts your speed by 2. So let's have a look at this set. Okay, so obviously here I'm running a Boldore. I'm running Stone Edge, Iron Defense, Endure, and Earthquake. Now that gives you coverage for most Pokemon to hit them decently. There's a couple that not, but we're running an Adamant nature with max attack, max speed. Reason being, we can boost speed double. Now here, you know, from weak armor, as I said before, being hit by a physical move will drop your defense once and boost your speed. Sorry, boost your speed twice. And then I'm running a Lychee Berry. Honestly, gonna change this to weakness policy because 1 in attack isn't quite enough for something like Boldore if you really want to be a good sweeper against defensive Pokemon. But I didn't want to use 2 weakness policies in the same video. I wanted to show how Lychee Berry could work. Now, with this set, the reason I have Iron Defense is if you can get an Iron Defense off after being hit with a physical move, then your defense goes down by 1, but it goes up by 2, so you're actually more defensive afterwards. So if I'd got it off here, there's a good chance that I may have lived another hit, even though I wasn't going for it. But I flinched, unfortunately. So this turn, I just went for the Endure to make sure I could live. I really wanted that extra speed boost, and this is why, because I can have speed boost up to 6 times if I get hit with the right moves and can endure them. Nonetheless, that's easily enough to take, you know, me down to 1 HP, especially with the defense drop. And now I'm able to pop my Lychee Berry. As I said, I will swap it to a weakness policy, as there I would have been at +2 in attack and special attack, but I just wanted to show a different item per chance. But nonetheless, I will change him to a weakness policy because he's actually not bad. I mean, like, here we're coming in against this Cinderace. This Cinderace ain't going to outspeed me unless he has a priority move or can access it as well, depending on item. But nope, cannot. So Max Rockfall will be enough. The other cool thing here with Max Rockfall is I can take him out, and I'm going to set up the Sandstorm. Now, as much as my special defense is higher now, it doesn't matter on 2 HP. You could go for something like this earlier if you wanted to, because you're still going to get the speed boost, and you can set it up with more HP. You can boost your special defense or with Max Quake, or you can just use Max Rockfall and get the Sandstorm up. But nonetheless, Charizard's coming out, which I was really glad I got to verse the champion here and have a Gigantamax Charizard just against my Boldore. And I'm going to outspeed thanks to my, you know, weak armor hits. And even with his berry being stab and +1 in attack, and you're 4 times weak, Charizard is not going to live that. And that's awesome. So after he goes down, I've only got 1 more to deal with, and this is where, I mean, a weakness policy would have come in handy. He's going to bring out his Rillaboom, and his Rillaboom has got a bit of bulk to it, and so do many other Pokemon. So realistically, if we're trying to get a sweep happening with this guy, we would have been best off with an extra +1 in attack. But unfortunately, it's not quite enough, being just +1, +2 would have been it. So I am actually going to go down there and die to the Rillaboom. But just being able to take out those 2 and almost a third was pretty cool. And it shows that Boldore has range and use. So I was really, really happy with that one. But anyway, that is finally it. I just really, really wanted to show off Boldore with that set for a while. And I think it's quite a decent build to use, really, and there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But as I said, weakness policy would be your best, because with Endure it doesn't matter what comes in against him. I mean, you could swap him out against a physical attacking Pokemon that's not doing much damage. They'll swap, bring in something else that's super effective, and you only have to use 1 Endure and you can pop your weakness policy and go from there. But anyway, if you did find this enjoyable, a like is always appreciated. You can also check out any comments you think of in comment sections. You can talk about sets you use, talk about where you've seen similar sets, talk about sets that you thought of, and also if there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me do. I always like hearing from you guys in that section. On top of that, check out the channel itself, and if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. There's a lot of different content, Pokemon and not, that goes up every weekly, and I'm trying to do more of these, and for a while now I'm trying to get them rolling every week or two. And then finally, you can check out Twitch, which is linked down in the description. That is where I do a lot of content every week, including community-based gaming. So anyway, GGs and NBPs, until my next video, I'll see ya.